Welcome to Real Nerds. I am Ryan. To my far left is...
Oh, Brad.
To my left is...
James?
I did that on purpose to see if Brad was actually paying attention. Not just listening to the show, but paying attention to the show.
He has important technical things that he has to do.
That's right.
He
over
does.
There, in his cage.
Yeah, so he's actually on the other side of the room through a soundproof... We're in a soundproof booth.
Right.
Brad is in the control room.
Yeah, he is.
And so I just wanted to make sure that he was listening to us.
Next to the
as we
phone.
talk.
So if you have any questions or comments, call in. There's not a
Yes.
phone number. Just, I don't know.
Yeah, just call
somebody.
in. Call in. Just
and
call.
he'll be the one to answer.
The
Go.
soundproof booth
Go.
means that I can kill you and no one will know.
if
That
you
sounds
need,
really cool on my end.
if you need to call us, just go, "Hey, Real Nerds," and we'll know. We'll know. Goonie shout out. For anyways,
I was born after that movie.
yeah, but you should still see it.
No, I know. I wanted to throw that out there.
Have you not seen it?
Oh, I've seen it. Yeah,
Yeah.
of course I've seen it.
It's a great
I haven't seen it
movie.
that much.
It's all right.
I haven't seen
Great.
Schindler's List.
It's like in between. Like sometimes I really like it, other times like it's all right.
Yeah.
But then sometimes I watch him. It's pretty cool.
Yeah. I think I respect that movie more than I enjoy it.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Anyway.
Anyways, this week we saw Ghost Rider: Spirit of Vengeance. It was Stay tuned for that one. I mean, that's gonna rank right up there with some of our greatest episodes ever.
I'm hoping so.
Still no. So we're gonna dive into some box office numbers with our sound technician Brad.
Do you want me to do it or you want to do it?
I don't
You
have
do
the
it.
numbers in
Yeah,
front of
you
you.
do
That's
it.
your
You do
bit, dude.
I was reluctant to give it to you because it also has my what I've been watching this week on it, so I don't want to give
Well,
it away.
don't do that yet.
Yeah.
We're gonna do the movies.
just the box office.
now.
So here it is. Did I put a theme song last week?
No.
No.
Okay.
Oh, before we get into this, I want to say that Mia the cat is okay. That was a sound effect that Brad put in last week. She has lived.
Now he got
It's a
that
sound effect from the actual event.
Yes.
Yeah. He recorded that sound from the cat.
But she's okay.
It is a real cat
I
sound.
put the clean audio in so you could actually enjoy the carnage.
We got the cat. We had to wrestle the cat into this booth
Mhm.
and then record the cat.
Yep.
Yeah. Was that Daffy Duck?
That
getting
was.
choked to
That was
death?
supposed to be a cat, but that was terrible.
Oh wow! All right. So what happened last week, Brad?
Last weekend's box office. Here we go. Number one was The Vow,
I vow to never see that movie.
Oh,
Boom.
Man.
$41 million.
Now is that one a Nicholas Sparks book?
No,
I
but
have no
they
idea.
kind of marketed it as one.
Yeah, it looks like one.
Number two was Safe House with $1 million less than that, with $40 million.
You know, no house is safe.
No House is Safe. Oh, sorry, that's the real title, according to the marquees.
Yes.
Yeah,
Theaters
the marquees all say
together.
no house is safe.
Number three was Journey 2, The Island of
That was actually kind of
Mysterious
shocking.
I'm amazed that.
But you know
anyone saw
why
that
it's
movie.
not-
$27 million.
That amazing. Do you know who is in that movie? The
Um,
Rock. Like they
oh.
did. I read an interesting article where The Rock does this interesting thing where he comes aboard on franchises after the fact, and he did Fast 5, which is the highest grossing Fast and Furious movie, and then Journey 2 opened at something like $4 or $5 more million than the first one, and so they're expecting really big numbers for G.I. Joe Retaliation with The Rock.
I'd believe it.
Yeah, because he's awesome.
Also because the first G.I. Joe didn't do that well, and this one looks better for more mainstream people.
And
Anyway.
The Rock's in it.
Yeah. The Rock, he pulls people.
Number four was Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace 3D, with $22 million.
Sorry, how much
he
money did it
shudders,
make?
but he saw it.
Yeah, no, I stood in line with those
Yeah.
other losers.
And number five was Chronicle with $12 million.
I'm amazed that movie's still around.
Yeah.
That's weird. I would imagine that Woman in Black or Big Miracle would be higher than that. But
So
they're
yeah,
not. Cool.
Big surprise, The Vow with that much money.
Yeah,
Oh,
it blew.
Yeah.
Actually, all these movies. I don't know if you read any articles about the box office report. It's the first time there's 4 movies over $20 million in a non-holiday weekend ever.
Really?
in movie
Maybe
history.
Times are changing. Maybe the blockbuster season is going to be January and February, and
Yeah.
summer's
right.
going to just tank.
Well, I think it's because the fall. There was some good movies, but there wasn't enough to sustain interest, and people kind of wanted to
Exactly,
get out and
yeah.
see movies.
Yeah, I think
Starve for good stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Desperate.
the movies that would normally, usually people would still be saying Mission Impossible or We Found a Zoo or something like that, but
You should
Those-
still
those
be
aren't-
seeing Ghost Protocol.
Yeah, you should still be seeing Ghost
It
Protocol.
made
Yeah,
over
absolutely.
$200 million. It's actually the highest grossing Tom Cruise movie worldwide. It's
Oh,
it's
good.
at like $800 million or something
It
worldwide.
deserves it.
It's also the highest grossing Mission Impossible, also,
Yep.
right? Yeah.
I'd believe that. Yeah.
Because it's not better than
So, yeah.
3, but close.
Agreed.
Those are your box office figures. What's next, Ryan?
That would be the DVD Roundup with Brad. Yeah! I made it more exciting.
Yeah.
Because I looked at this week. I really not that exciting.
Oh, really? What is coming out this week?
Well,
I'm looking to buy a DVD, Brad.
I guess for most people, the big release is Puss in Boots.
Oh,
You can
man.
buy that on 3D Blu-ray, DVD, Blu-ray, DVD, digital copy, and DVD. If that's not your
Not
cup of
gonna
tea,
Do that.
you might also enjoy Tower Heist on Blu-ray,
Oh,
DVD,
hey,
digital
hey,
copy,
I want to see that.
or DVD. I will stream it
I might get it
If
at
I feel
Redbox.
inclined.
I might get it at Redbox.
or Redbox.
Yeah.
I don't know who's going to buy J. Edgar on Blu-ray, DVD, and Ultraviolet.
I was looking.
download.
There's like 3 different versions of that movie.
Yeah, there's the Blu-ray, DVD, Ultraviolet download. Then there's the DVD. Then there's a movie-only version, which I guess no special features, but it's also a Blu-ray DVD combo.
Huh.
Yeah. So
Who's buying that? Maybe that's just for rental. Like maybe it's listed on there, but it's
I don't know.
really
It was on
just for
digital
rental.
bits. Like
Weird.
if to buy on Amazon.
That's
So I guess
weird.
if you're
I
like-
don't know.
I
How
want
much-
to own the
well.
movie, but I don't want to know how they made it.
But how
Yeah,
much
that's
could you
the
possibly
version
be
for you.
saving? Like $2? Are they really going
Oh,
to take
yeah.
that much
check
money
the
off?
price.
No,
Yeah.
I know.
But
That's
yeah,
crazy. I've never seen that before.
just get the complete edition.
Yeah. Watch the special features.
The Way on Blu-ray and DVD.
Oh, there we go.
Combo.
See, there's one that I actually
No,
want to
on
see.
Blu-ray and DVD separately.
Yeah, that's a movie that I actually missed last year that I really want to see.
Yeah, you actually tried to get us to see it. It
I
was one
did,
Of our
yeah.
Things, yeah.
Yeah, it was.
I forget what we saw instead. But,
I hope that it's really good so that I can shove that in your throat.
And then TV show wise, we got Weeds season 7. I've never seen it. Blu-ray and DVD, and then Nurse Jackie season 3 on Blu-ray and DVD. So, might be some fans listening to the podcast that looking forward to that. And then also Unforgiven is getting a Blu-ray book version.
What?
Which I love those Blu-ray
Oh,
books.
Blu-ray books are awesome.
Yeah.
Cool.
Unfortunately, I've already got it on HD DVD. So I'm like,
Oh,
I mean,
how do you play
Do
your
you
HD DVDs?
You have
I have a combo player.
yeah.
Weird.
Doesn't play Clerks 2 though. Sad.
Huh.
Yeah, I love the book version of Doctor Strangelove. It's a really cool one.
Yeah,
I
they
have
got
a-
those like large photos in
Mhm.
there. And
Yeah, I've
liner
got a book
notes.
version of Kenneth Branagh's Hamlet, which is
Yeah.
fantastic.
Me too.
Mhm.
It's great.
It is
4
hours long. That movie.
So that's the roundup.
That was good. That was really good.
Nice.
Now what do we do?
We do real news, guys. Come on.
It's real news.
Any exciting news for us this week? Really, the thing that I kind of I really liked X-Men First Class, and they kind of said that the new X-Men's going to be kind of Magneto centric.
Which is cool.
Yeah,
that's
focus on
kind of
him.
what I expected
Me
since he
too.
was probably the most fun part about X-Men.
Yeah,
First Class.
the writer of it said because him and Fassbender and McAvoy are such good actors that it's kind of they switched roles. So I mean, McAvoy kind of takes a back seat
Yeah.
in this one, and Fassbender kind of becomes a main character. And
That's cool. That's
Yeah.
cool. That's probably what I wanted. Most of the news this week is all sequel news.
yeah,
Basically, it's official now that we're going to get a Muppets 2, which lays to rest that whole conversation that we had back when the Muppets came out about whether or not this is something that can last and whether or not the Muppets can actually come back. Now, I'm not entirely sure that this means that they have real staying power and that there's going to be a series of Muppet movies, new Muppet movies, but we'll at least get one more, which is cool.
as long as they don't do Muppets in Space, we'll probably be okay.
Yeah, as long as they don't Muppets in Space this series again, we should be all right. No real news on it as far as like what it's about or how involved Jason Segel is going to be, but
I'm not even sure what the story would be because
No.
the last one made sense. Like
Yeah,
real
Yeah.
life scenario, they came out of hiatus and
yeah. This one would have to be more of a just like here's a fun Muppet story, the way that Muppets Take Manhattan or Muppets.
the Muppets take post 9/11 Manhattan.
Oh no! Oh,
it's always
gosh.
too soon for a
It's
9/11
extremely
joke.
loud and
It wasn't a
incredibly
joke,
Muppets. Oh gosh,
Just an idea.
that's the worst. Oh man. Anyway, on that horrible news, Michael Bay has pretty much signed on to do Transformers 4, which is also sad for me. I love the Transformers movie, all three of them really. And the truth is, I was kind of excited about somebody else coming on and having a slightly different visual style, being able to take it into a different direction, which from what we've heard from the actors, nobody's coming back. Like story-wise, it's going to be a completely new arc. But you know what? The same things were said about Pirates of the Caribbean on Stranger Tides, and that didn't turn out very well. So, I mean, since it's Michael Bay, at least the action will be cool, but I was kind of hoping that he would go off and do Bad Boys 3, and I would get like a more toned down Transformers where it's like, you know, I get to relate to robots, and then I see them turn into cars.
Well, you kind of knew that, I mean, he was going to come back because Steven Spielberg really wanted him back. I read an interview where Steven Spielberg said that he wants him back big time.
Yeah, but
Because I guess Steven Spielberg really liked the third one.
I really like the third one, but I mean, he goes. The third one is so big and goes so far and takes everything to such an extreme that I feel like if you did another movie, it would have to. I would want that next movie to take things in a different direction and try and actually tone things down. Maybe
Can it be more about the Autobots and Decepticons? And
They
not
should
just
have. They should have the
people?
war
And-
on the planet. That'd be
and-
awesome.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, and that's very possible. But 3 was such a good finisher to the Michael Bay Transformers ridiculousness.
I know. Did you
that-
see Optimus Prime rip off Megatron's head,
dude,
Mortal Kombat style?
Megatron is dead.
Yeah.
Of course, they'll bring him back.
Yeah.
But still, I just it's not. I'm sure there are some people who are excited about this, but I am not one of them. Anyway.
Huh? Because you like the movies so much.
I do, but it's part of that is that I really want to see Bad Boys 3. And this might be the last chance we have to see that before Will Smith is too old. Anyway. Brad, you got any news before I do my last thing?
No.
Okay.
Sorry.
There was an article this week. I read the article on /Film, but it's based on a study that some people did that basically they found that online piracy has not hurt box office returns in the U.S. since 2003 when BitTorrenting was created, but that it does hurt international receipts. Basically, the implication being that, which is something that I said back when we had this conversation, that people who torrent are not people who were going to go see that movie in theaters anyway, and that people who torrent overseas are torrenting because the movie is in America but isn't in their country yet. They don't have a way to see it yet, which is a service problem, not a pricing problem. It has nothing to do with the fact that people don't want to spend the money. It's more that they aren't getting the stuff that they want. And this makes perfect sense to me, and it's part of why it's frustrating every time that we see little bits about what people like Warner Brothers are doing to stop piracy and how it is hurting me, the guy who actually wants to buy their DVDs. So it's frustrating, and I'm glad that there is some evidence out there where people are saying what I have believed for years. Not that this is not to say that people should go out and start pirating things, because it only works in this environment where only people on the fringes are doing it. If everybody starts justifying it with this, then people stop going to the movies. But
How many people like half read the article and it's like, oh, sweet, it's okay to pirate now.
yeah, I know that's the problem.
Well-
Is that if you start, it starts to justify the action, whereas it being illegal now is part of why it's not a big deal.
A lot of movies now, though, open, like the big movies, open overseas first. Spider-Man 3
Some of them
did.
do, yeah.
I think The Dark Knight did
Yeah,
in Japan first.
but I think I don't think I have the article about the piracy up here, but I don't have. At the end of the year, they always release a list of what the most torrented movies of the year were, and they are never, well, not never. Like I think Avatar was one the year that it came out, but most of the time they are not the movies that were the biggest movies that year. Most of the time they're sort of that second string movies. Like I do know for sure that Rango was on the top 5 this year, which is not a movie that was a box office hit really, but it was the kind of movie that wouldn't have gotten an international release right away, or even for a while. It was the kind of movie that people might not have been too crazy to go see in theaters, but wanted to see anyway, and so you can see how that would make it onto the list. So, yeah, it's usually not the Spider-Man 3s or the Transformers that are the highest torrented movies, strangely enough. But I just thought it was really interesting. It says something about the situation that we're in and the way that the internet is changing things. But anyway, that's the news for this week.
Fun. So we'll go right into what we've been watching. I guess I'll start. I'm sure everybody heard that Whitney Houston died this week. So I went ahead and watched The Bodyguard. And I want my money back.
Whose joke is that you just stole?
David Spade. I've been waiting all week to say that joke.
Wednesday's like, oh man,
that
2
was
days
the joke.
away.
Yeah, 2 days away. I got this joke lined up. I did not really see The Bodyguard.
Oh, really? You know what? For some reason, when you said that, I just assumed, oh, yeah, because he probably owns it. That's clearly a lie. Why would you own that movie?
Yeah. Well, because I own it. Wow, that really cut me to my core. But no, I watched Drive again this week. That movie's awesome. That his theme song gets stuck in my head. That like synth. He's a real human being. I don't even know something. However it goes. He is a human being. He really likes that girl. But watching it again on Blu-ray, man, Christina Hendricks' head just blows right off.
I know. I remember that being really jarring in the theater, but then when I saw it on Blu-ray, it's like you can see the bits.
Yeah, you can see like half her face fly off.
Oh gosh, it's horrible.
Yeah, it's,
because I think when you first see it, it's so sudden.
Yeah.
That you kind of look away. You don't look right at it. But when you know it's coming, then it's like that. What do you call it? When you have to look at the wreck, right? You just yeah. It's like rubbernecking. Like you just stare right at the exploding head because you want to see how bad it really is. Yeah. And when you do that, then it's like, oh gosh, man, they killed Christina Hendricks in that scene.
Yeah, but Ryan Gosling's amazing in that movie. He's really like the cool. I don't when I watched it because this is the first time I saw it since I saw it in theater. I don't remember him talking as much, but he actually kind of has quite a bit of dialogue in it.
Oh yeah, I felt the same way.
And just little things that even when he's talking to Standard in the bathroom about why he got beat up, I really like that scene because he's really good in it.
I think it's weird because how quiet that movie is so jarring the first time you see it. That then the quiet moments really sort of stretch themselves out. Because I had the same experience but when I watched it on Blu-ray, it was just like. The whole movie was flying by.
Yeah,
it was over before I expected it to be.
Yeah, it was really cool. Then I also rewatched Serenity this week because I also wanted to watch all the special features on the Blu-ray and
that picture-in-picture commentary is really pretty fun.
It is.
It's not interesting. They don't talk about the movie very much.
No, but it's
fun to see those guys sitting around.
I literally watched the movie, then I watched the picture-in-picture commentary, and then I watched all the special features. I spent like 5 hours on Serenity. And
5 hours well spent.
And it's just it's one of those movies where you forget kind of like the little banter between the characters, and then you get really wrapped in Joss Whedon's speak and kind of tone, and it's great.
Yeah.
That's all I can say about it. And one of the special features I really liked was there's a introduction by Joss Whedon where he's introducing it obviously to some screening crowd. And he said that, he says he really wanted to thank these people because without these people, this movie wouldn't have been made. But so sit back and enjoy it and tell your friends to go and see it because, it took a long time to get this movie made, a lot of hard work. But if you think it sucks, don't tell anybody for a few months. And so it's kind of funny.
But that is not why that movie didn't get people to see it.
It didn't do too bad. I think it made like $25 million.
Yeah, but it took a while.
Yeah.
And it did not make its money back. That is for sure.
I think it eventually did on DVD and Blu-ray because.
But it did poorly enough that it was hard to even get Universal, not the studio that made it, but Universal to, or no, they are the ones that made it. It was hard to get Universal to even start considering making a sequel.
Yeah. But the movie's fun and it's really
great.
Cool.
Yeah.
But I'm guessing that other things that I watched this week, you guys probably watched too. So we can talk about those at the end.
This is true.
So
yeah.
Brad.
Brad
Would
gone over
George.
this first.
Well, we know at least one of them. Why don't you bring that one up?
Bring up the stuff we watched to get.
Yeah, you just talk about what you watched this week.
Okay.
Go ahead.
I have 6 things on my list. I guess I'll start with I rewatched The Lady Killers for the first time.
I haven't
The
seen that
remake?
since in the
Oh,
theaters.
man.
Yeah,
that's
since the theater. It was on some movie channel, and it was actually better than I remember.
Did you not
being.
like it the first time?
No, I thought it was okay. Like, it was fun to watch Tom Hanks be goofy and
Yeah.
all the other characters. What's his name? The guy who plays J. Jonah Jameson.
J.K. Simmons.
J.K.
Yeah, J.K.
Simmons.
Simmons.
Like, yeah, all the characters. Like, back then it was like, that was all right. But
Yeah.
maybe I got the humor differently.
I
this
find that a
time
lot
around,
of times,
and,
and especially like Coen Brothers movies. Sometimes when you watch them when you're young, you're like, "Yeah, movie's all right," but then you go back and watch them, and you appreciate them a little
Yeah, the
more.
sense of humor gets
and it was
better.
censored too, so it's like I didn't think I'd appreciate it.
You brought
with
your
all
bitch
the
to the Waffle
cuts
Hut.
taken out, yeah, no swearing, but yeah, it's
Oh.
pretty entertaining.
I love
Bruce
that.
Campbell's
I love
in it
that
for
movie.
a few seconds.
Yeah.
Where? I don't
He's
remember
like
that.
a ice cream truck driver or something.
Must be at
No.
the beginning because
It
I
is-
missed
it's at
that part.
it's
yeah.
at the very beginning. Yeah.
Huh.
So yeah,
I always really loved that movie. Like, people make fun of that and list that as maybe the worst Coen Brothers movies, but I don't agree. Intolerable Cruelty is the worst Coen Brother movie by far. Lady Killers is pretty fun.
But see, I don't think Intolerable Cruelty is that bad though. It's all right. I own it.
I think by
Never seen
comparison to the rest of them, it's I have seen. I hate that movie. I'm not anyway.
It's intolerable.
Yeah, exactly.
then I saw 2 park movies.
Ray Park,
No,
the short guy,
no, Gosford Park and Jurassic Park.
dude.
Nice. Nice.
So Gosford Park, pretty good dramatic movie. Unfortunately, I was hoping for a good murder mystery,
Right? No,
and it's
it
not
is.
a detective murder mystery.
It is really not a murder mystery. Well, I mean, it
It's
is
like-
to some degree, because what's interesting about it is that there is a murder, and then the person who figures out that the murder is not the detective; it's this maid.
Yeah,
But it's
She
not
doesn't-
about that.
she just kind of interviews a couple people, and then she kind of puts it together.
Yeah, because it's really pretty easy.
But the rest of the movie is, just great actors acting
Yeah,
for 2.5 hours.
yeah, it's more of a costume drama where it's like you're experiencing this world that you've never really seen before, and that is interesting enough and drives the plot. And then the murder mystery is just like this weird, more of the murder provides a window into the kinds of social things that were going on at that time, and that's what's really interesting about
Yeah, and like
Yeah.
none of the characters actually care that he's dead
it. Oh yeah, absolutely.
because they're all awful.
And I had forgotten when I rewatched it. I'd forgotten that Stephen Fry is in that movie,
Yeah,
and he has a great part in that movie as the detective.
I love how
It's
his
too good.
his assistant detective is actually doing real detective work and
Right.
like, solving the crime, and
Yeah.
he's ignoring it. Like,
And it
there's
sounds
this
like
open bookcase here, and there's footprints and mud on the floor. It's like, knock it off! I'm trying to interview this guy. you know?
Yeah. When he picks up the glass and is messing with the glass, and then the guy's like, "You're putting fingerprints on that glass." Like,
Yeah. When he tries to drink the liquor. And,
yes,
And it, like he,
yeah.
he
It sounds
almost drinks it.
it sounds hackneyed or cliched. You know, it sounds like something out of a bad cartoon. But because it's Stephen Fry, it worked really well.
Yeah.
He plays it very well. Yeah,
So,
that's a good movie. You should check out Downton Abbey.
Yeah, I'll get that next. Yeah.
Yeah.
Gosford Park's been on my queue forever. And
Right,
I finally knocked it off. And I was like,
Absolutely.
oh, shoot. I kind of was hoping for like something I could piece together, but it's like the last 30 minutes. and
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
oh, there's the murder. Oh, and there's the killers.
It kind of reminds you how much you wish that there were a real murder mystery every now and then, because we don't get any.
Yeah.
Damn you, dragon tattoo.
And then, of course, I watched Jurassic Park on TV, and
What?
it was, just around. So
Yeah.
and it's in HD, so I don't have the Blu-rays yet, so
No, they do.
checking it out, and it was it's a great movie.
Yeah,
Yeah,
one of the greatest movies of all time.
Yeah, I was just marveling at just the set pieces and like the action sequences they have in
Yeah.
that movie, and the tension it builds. It's like a monster movie,
Oh yeah,
but
Mhm.
it's about dinosaurs
And
and
then
just like creatures. you
the
know?
fact that CG has not aged,
oh yeah, that's
like
the other thing.
really has not aged.
That's more convincing
Period.
than the CG in the other 2 movies,
Oh yeah, absolutely.
and it's the
And I mean, some of that
original
is
CGI.
Some of that is
film.
the tricks that they used at the time of making it rain a lot and having things be dark.
Yeah.
But still really amazing CG.
I know I got my tax refund. I think I might go get that on Blu-ray.
Ooh, man.
And I guess in HD, it's a little more noticeable when they intercut between puppet dinosaur
Right.
close-ups and then the wide shots. Like you can see the CGI dinosaurs have cleaner outlines than the footage around it.
Yeah.
As opposed to watching a DVD
Yeah,
or VHS, it kind of blends together with the fuzziness.
The one that doesn't work now is the Brachiosaurus. The CG Brachiosaur and the animatronic Brachiosaur are very clear. You can always tell which one's which. Yeah.
And that T-Rex, oh man, what a great
Still
sequence.
amazing. Oh gosh. Oh,
It's one of the best
man.
sequences ever in movies.
Oh gosh. That whole
brilliant.
movie is one of the tightest, most perfect scripts. Yeah, it turned into an amazing movie.
Oh yeah, and just how they deal with all these themes of like playing God and
Yeah.
I guess becoming obsolete. Paleontologists, like they just realize they're almost out of work because of this thing, and the ramifications. Like there's also themes of here's this park that you think everyone would enjoy, but the lawyer brings up like in reality the people making a park like that would probably only cater to the wealthy.
Right.
So like there's just great themes in there that they touch
Oh,
on,
yeah,
and they
for-
make it interesting too.
I do love that dinner scene where they're all sitting around and John's trying to convince
everyone.
everybody, and then even the paleontologist like, dude, what are you doing here? And
Yeah.
The biggest problem is that your scientists were so concerned with whether or not they could, they didn't stop to think of whether or not they should.
Yeah.
And that line is so good. Like, just because the movie is sort of a horror thriller movie, it is not afraid to be intelligent and
And think about stuff. The
which
other
is
two are
partially
just
because
like,
it's Michael Crichton.
we got to save people.
But see, I don't
Yeah.
think the book's very good.
That's
Because the
Yeah.
one thing I don't like about the book is it's like 2, 3, 4, 5 pages constantly of computer code.
Yeah.
Like, really, dude? Like, that's really unnecessary.
I remember
But
reading,
my point is that he was really into the science of what he was doing. Like
Yeah.
he was always very concerned with, if he was going to come up with an idea of how we could have dinosaurs and people at the same time, he was going to find a way that was scientifically fairly sound. And so that's what I mean is that he
Yeah, I mean,
he was always concerned with making things very believable in his stories.
I mean, the book's
whether or not
all right,
the books are good or
but,
not.
it's
is
all right.
secondary.
It's better than Jaws, the book.
Well, yeah.
But you're a computer person. Does the computer code in it actually make sense?
I don't know. I'm not that
Oh.
into computer.
I don't know if
I
it
don't-
actually had
Yeah.
a...
I
All
don't
I remember is
I don't remember the
reading
code well enough to.
Hammond getting eaten by the compies. I was like, what the hell? That wasn't in the movie.
Yeah, totally.
Oh man.
So yeah, that was those two, and then I saw. Shoot, I should have done more research. I saw a movie called OSS 117.
That's a
Michael Michel
Jean
Harry-
Desjardins.
Yeah, the
Jean
creative team
Desjardins.
behind the artist. They,
Oh.
I guess they've had some other movies. This one's like
A spy
a
spoof,
French
correct?
Austin Powers.
Weird.
Yeah. Jean
Jean Desjardins.
Desjardins. Yeah, he plays like
Say it like it's mustard.
this French spy, and it's the French Austin Powers because it's all about this suave spy who's on this mission, and they play with all these spy tropes. There's like a sequence where he's getting shot at, and he like runs away and then runs back for the briefcase that he's supposed to be taking, and he's still getting fired on. Then he realizes he forgot his coat, so he goes back, gets the coat, he's still being fired on. Then he like runs 20 blocks, and they're still shooting at him, and you never see the gunman anywhere. And then later on, they're like lost in the jungle, and this crocodile starts swimming up to him on the shore, and he just pulls out a gun and shoots the crocodile, and this foam crocodile just rolls over.
So
And then
is
he
it good?
He fishes it out of the river, and then like throws it on the ground and asks like the woman who's like palling around, the other woman spy palling around, was like, "There you go cook us dinner." She's like, "I don't do that." And then there's like an American spy who always swears a lot because like that's their vision of Americans, like they're gun-toting, foul-mouthed,
Nice.
guys. It was all right. It was I thought it was funny in some places, but it's a lot of like foreign humor.
Yeah, that would be the biggest
Yeah.
concern is that because it's all French,
Yeah.
it would be.
But there's still some good
know.
gags in there. Like they go to a, they're trying to stop some Nazis, so they go to a Nazi costume party. They think it's a costume party, but it's actually like a Nazi rally, and he's wearing like a Robin Hood outfit. And, the guy who takes him there is actually a Nazi, so like he pulls off his wig, and I think it's worth a watch. Like there's a lot of like the main character, OSS 17. He's like a total misogynist, chauvinist, really full of himself guy, and like they really make that entertaining.
Is it on Netflix?
Yeah, and Netflix. It's I watched the one that's Lost in. There's 2 on there, and one of them dropped off before I could watch it. But the one I watched is Lost in Rio.
Oh, okay.
So I thought it was worth a watch. Yeah,
Cool.
especially if plus also they also the visual style is very true to like the Sean Connery
The
Bond
whole
films.
chunk of yeah.
So
That's cool.
yeah, and then are you guys gonna bring up Comic Book Men?
Oh, sure. Yeah. Let's talk about that.
Yeah, I think that's one of the ones I was gonna.
Yeah. So after The Walking Dead this week was the premiere of Comic Book Men, which is sort of like, it's like if Pawn Stars and the Ricky Gervais Show had a baby with Kevin Smith.
Yeah.
Because it takes place in the Jay and Silent Bob's Secret Stash in Jersey, and there's some of it is just those guys palling around and talking and telling stories, and some of it is people bringing in their weird shit and trying to sell it to these guys, and it was good. It was pretty good.
Yeah, I wasn't into it like in the first 5 or 10 minutes or so.
Yeah, I thought it built up steam. Eventually,
it got better as the show went on. It was an hour, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think once like I watched the Tell 'Em Steve Dave podcast. And
yeah, I did too.
Brian Johnson's hilarious. So when he gets to the what is it?
When they go to the flea market, yeah,
and he starts ragging on Ming.
When that one dude came up, was like, "You can't break that guy's stuff." That part was really funny.
Oh, that was really good. You had to pay him for that. Yeah, that was really good.
That's when I think the show got really good. Yeah,
yeah, absolutely. And just seeing Ming in real life for the first time, I was like, oh, okay, this is that was pretty interesting. Being already invested in that.
And
that
when
guy.
they were sitting around kind of doing the podcast thing, there were some funny moments.
Oh,
in
absolutely.
That too.
Yeah. The people coming in selling stuff, like the Pawn Stars aspect of it, I think is the least interesting thing.
Yeah.
But part of that is because I don't think that any of the stuff that came in was that interesting. I don't think I think that's maybe the part of the show that's for people who aren't comic booky and they want that, because like I know who Bob Kane is and
that part was interesting.
The stuff that's like, I don't care that much about how much that stuff is worth or about seeing them haggle. It would be more interesting to see them talk about comic book stuff, but you don't really see any of that. That's for sure. I'm hoping that there will be a bit more sort of comic book store atmosphere.
Yeah, I think that's the only thing missing, because you never saw people come in and say, "Hey, what comics is?" and they didn't really test their comic knowledge.
Yeah, exactly.
Where these guys, know it really well.
Yeah, there wasn't a funny rant about one comic or one story or one character or anything like that, which is kind of what you want. I mean, it's basically like, oh, you want the show every week to be Clerks, only real and in a comic book shop. That's kind of what I feel like I'm expecting, which is probably crazy.
Yeah, and I think too they're a little uncomfortable at the beginning. So hopefully after a few episodes, the other guys start getting. I mean, Kevin Smith is fine, but like Walt and
Walt doesn't even want to be doing the podcast. So this has got to be his nightmare.
But he also draws too. He did a couple of Kevin's books. So I mean, it'd be a good opportunity for him to kind of.
Oh yeah.
But I did get a kick out of the dude with the Dawn of the Dead stuff, where you thought he was carrying the first appearance of Batman or something.
He had it handcuffed to him when he came in with it. Like, that's how much he thought it was great, and then it was nothing. And the weird lady with the Chucky doll. Oh gosh, that was.
I think I've seen in Spencer's for like $60.
Yeah.
What, $800?
Yeah,
yeah. And she was like, "Well, it's really part of the family." Even though I have 2 of them.
But I did too.
That
even
was messed up.
there's a couple parts. I mean, the flea market part was really funny.
Yeah.
But the $6 Million Man, you could tell that Walt really wanted that. Like he was, you could see it in his face. He's like, "Oh my gosh, this is something I wanted. I liked it when I was a kid."
Yeah, that was
so that
cool.
part, when you're a nerd, is kind of cool.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Like when that came in, then they cut over to the guys in the studio doing the podcast, and then there was like a little spiel about the $6 Million Man and how much he liked it and all of that, and how that was it when he was a kid.
Yeah.
And watching the $6 Million Man fight the
the
Sasquatch. Yeah, exactly.
Rip its arms off. I want to see that episode now.
Yeah.
It's got to be on YouTube.
Oh, I'm sure it is. Yeah. Well, yeah, that was probably the most entertaining parts of the show. It was certainly not just a big pile of shit.
No.
And I'm pretty sure AMC is not spending that much money on it, so it'll
Oh,
probably stick around.
I mean, how much money could it possibly cost to produce that show?
We were
And it
talking.
did pretty good. I think it was like 2 million people watched it.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
And I mean, they are pandering a little, showing it after The Walking Dead, but why not?
Yeah, I read an interview with AMC's president, and he said the reason they did that because they want to kind of create a night where it's for people like us,
Yeah.
where you can watch The Walking Dead, and then you have Comic Book Men, and then if they can find another show that they can put on,
Well,
there-
The Talking Dead is still showing.
yeah, The Talking Dead,
After that, at some point.
The Real Nerds podcast show.
the Real Nerds podcast show, AMC.
There you
If you're
go.
listening,
We'll do it.
we'll do it. But yeah, I think that's kind of interesting. So if they're looking for another show, or they'll put Hell on Wheels back on.
Yeah, but like that one's on Sunday.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
or something like that. I guess they're looking for another show.
Oh no, that's right. This was on Sunday.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So that's good.
So yeah, and then I guess that leads us to The Walking Dead,
Right. The other
Yeah.
show that you watched.
The other show
Yeah.
that
and you
Broke.
guys watched too.
Yes.
broke
we all
cable records with 8
Yeah.
million viewers.
Broke its own cable record.
Yeah,
Wow.
Yeah, which was pretty crazy. It's a good return. I'm glad that it's back.
yeah. The cool thing of Joe, if you're listening, Joe got mad at me because he doesn't have AMC,
Oh.
and so we were spoiling The Walking Dead
Oh,
for him.
man.
So Joe, if you're listening, skip forward about 5-10 minutes.
Yeah.
But it was an interesting return. It was kind of a little more mellow.
Yeah.
And I think it was a good return though too because after the gut punch of Sophia and
Yeah, the before the hiatus, they ended at such a high note that then to try and come back with that much energy would be really hard.
yeah,
So it made sense to come back and like bring us back to where we were and be like, okay, this is what happened. This is where people are. And it was interesting to have more of a character focused,
Yeah.
dramatic episode than just
Because-
Shane going off the rails again.
yeah. But I thought I did love that scene when Shane got in the truck and he noticed Dell was just staring at
Oh,
him.
yeah.
And he
Oh,
gets
man.
out and just starts saying stuff, and Dell's not even saying anything to him,
He
and
just stares at him.
you can
And
see
yeah,
Shane kind of lose it.
yeah.
But of course, that's not the best part of the episode.
The saloon.
The saloon, I love that part
Yeah.
Yeah.
because
quick draw.
yeah,
Oh, what was his name? It had the other guy from the show Terriers in it, which is great. Yeah, that moment at the end of the episode, which again, spoilers, but
Yeah.
that moment when it's building all this tension, and it's the kind of thing that has happened in the books quite a few times, where all of a sudden you introduce these couple of guys, and we just know like they are no good. They're just gonna like steal everything these guys have, and really just they're marauders clearly. And that scene is building all this tension, and you're thinking, this is just gonna fuck everything up. Like, here's this wrench, and we know it, and we know that Rick knows it. And so then that moment when Rick is able to make this choice to just fucking kill these guys and get this over with is great, because it shows a stark contrast between his willingness to do what is necessary to keep people safe and Shane's willingness to do what is necessary. Because there's a real difference in the way that they go about doing things and what they take seriously.
yeah. What I loved about that whole moment too is because they ran into Herschel, obviously about 20 minutes earlier, and they're having that conversation with him,
Right.
and it was great moments through that whole little scene, and then when those guys come in, all of a sudden Herschel realizes what kind of world he's in.
Right.
Like before, he might judge or he would have kicked Rick out for whatever.
Yeah.
But then I think this is what kind of interesting too on the show, because I don't know how fast they're going to leave the farm now, because I think the end Herschel realized that maybe this guy
by
knows.
contrast,
yeah,
these are not bad people.
yeah,
Right.
and he really protected him, because you could tell the scene was so well done, because there was that tension, and Rick didn't trust these guys, and you're like, oh, these guys are going to go away. Are they going to be another part of the group? Are they going to have this goofy? They're going to show up, and they're going to be, two, I don't know, clans fighting or whatever you want to call it. And Rick took care of that.
And it shows you that Rick's understanding of the world is in line with what Robert Kirkman, especially in the books, is trying to portray, which is that with Rick, the real enemy in this world are people.
Yeah,
And with Shane, the real enemy, Shane is just afraid of zombies.
yeah,
That's all he's really worried about. And Shane and Rick is worried about people becoming bad people.
I think-
which if Shane were worried about that, Shane wouldn't be becoming a bad people.
yeah.
You know?
Was there in the last trade, I think there was an interesting monologue that Rick had where he was talking about, when there's no rules, you really see who the good people are,
Right.
and because no one can. I mean, when there's no rules, I mean, who's going to protect people and who's just going to take from people?
Right.
It's a really interesting
And it's
way to look at it.
Yeah, it's always been how Robert Kirkman has approached
Yeah.
The Walking Dead, is that the Walking Dead are there to stir things up, but they're not the real antagonist. Which is where that show is going.
Yes, and and Lori's in trouble in case you missed that brief moment where she got hit by a zombie and flipped her car.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
And
That was a little weird. That whole story
that was a little goofy.
That plot line of how she suddenly needs to get information to Rick and then decides to drive into town. That was the one place where I was like, this is
Yeah, because they
starting to
just
go off
sent,
the rails.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because they just sent Rick in. Like they just
Yeah.
went to town.
Yeah,
Yeah,
where
it,
she had
it
to
felt
go.
like time
Glenn
had not
and-
passed, and what she needed, the information she needed to get him was not important enough.
Yeah. When, my mom was watching it, and as soon as the car flew, she's like, "Well, that baby's dead."
Oh,
So
maybe.
wrapped up that
Nah.
storyline.
nah. anything that stirs the pot will survive.
The only other thing I didn't like is, I guess I don't know who she is, but is she like one of Herschel's other daughters?
Oh, the one who went into shock.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I don't think is shock. I think it's another zombie fever. I think she got scratched, but like,
Maybe.
Oh,
After-
But
maybe.
yeah, because she's the one that runs over to his mom.
yeah,
Yeah,
After
to her
everything
mom.
those characters have been through, like, how does none of them bring up that maybe she's getting that fever and
Oh
becoming
yeah,
a
that's
zombie?
that's a good choice. That's
Yeah, I
good.
don't know.
Catch. I didn't even catch that.
'Cause I think that it might not. It might. She might be in shock, but to me, it looks like she's changing.
So you caught that
Yeah.
before I did. And I watch
Yeah.
zombie movies like they're going out of style.
Yeah, I remember being worried about the show, but I completely forgot that even happened in the episode.
Yeah.
Yeah. She's probably a zombie.
It's like, get Herschel, figure out what's wrong with her. Like, you guys have seen this before, right?
Right. Yeah, because they saw it with, what's his name?
All first season, a little bit of second season.
Or maybe they're so concerned about getting Herschel back they just didn't even think about it. I don't know.
Yeah. Anyway, I hate it when characters act dumb
Yeah.
in zombie movies.
And if it's something that I probably shouldn't be worried about, because from what we've seen in the show so far, it's that, they may not set up storylines the best, but they will finish them fairly well.
True.
Is that everything you watched this week?
That's all for me.
Cool. Well,
That's a lot.
that's almost everything that I watched this week. Comic Book Man and The Walking Dead were also on my list. So the only other thing that I watched was a movie called The Guard, which was a sort of an indie Irish movie from last year. Going into it, I was sort of expecting, I was expecting it to be sort of the In Bruges of the last year. Small movie, takes place in England or in Europe,
Yeah.
sort of town, Europe country, Europe land. There we go. Takes place in Europe land, about some interesting characters. Crazy things will happen. And basically, it's about this. Brendan Gleeson plays a guard. He's like they keep calling him a guard, but he's clearly like a local police officer or something. And he stumbles into this drug murder plot. And Don Cheadle plays an American FBI agent who's trying to track down these drugs. And it's weird because it's not really plot heavy. Like he figures out the story fairly easily. Like it's a simple story, but a lot of the scenes are this guard who is an abrasive jerk kind of character that half the time you don't know if he is. And I mean, this is clearly stated, almost too clearly stated by the movie. You don't really know if he is stupid, like really stupid, ignorant, just a jackass, or is actually pretty smart and a real jackass. And he walks that line really finely, which is, I mean, Brendan Gleeson is really great in this role. Anyway, so most of the movie is him sort of interacting with people in this town or these bad people and things like that, and seeing the interesting way that this character would react to these things. And it's pretty good. The ending is a little bit silly. Silly might be unfair, but anyway, people should check it out. You might really like it. It's certainly not In Bruges. In Bruges is a different kind of class of movie, but it's still interesting. And that's everything I watched this week.
I forgot to mention in real news that we did a a poll question this week.
Oh gosh!
And
See, you don't feel as alone anymore.
No,
do
in
you?
fact, you guys should feel alone because I asked a bunch of people, what their favorite Star Wars movie was, and a whopping 14 said, Revenge of the Sith. Yeah.
Yep. And the only two people
No,
who said
actually, it's not two. Laura's sister agreed that Phantom Menace and Duel of the Fates was the best part of the
way to
the
go,
prequel.
Jenny.
Nice.
And she left a comment about saying Duel of the Fates. So
Yeah, no.
that's cool that a
is.
chick knows that stuff. I love that. I love that. I really do. It's cool. So thank you everybody for voting and agreeing with me because I'm the best.
I told you, Brad and I are absolutely the minority as far as that movie is concerned.
Yeah,
So we
I understand it.
Yeah.
And I guess we're all in agreement that Attack of the Clones is.
Yeah,
Yeah,
nobody
no one
voted for
voted
Attack.
Attack of the Clones.
Not
Yeah,
a single
feel bad
person.
for Attack of the Clones now.
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
Because yeah, no, there's nothing. No, there are redeemable things.
yeah, I love the Yoda fight scene in it.
Yeah.
And actually, on Blu-ray, when the Clone War starts and they're fighting, looks amazing.
Obi-Wan Kenobi's entire plotline, especially including the fight scene with Jango Fett, is awesome.
Yeah, and
It
looks really cool, like
it's
the rain and stuff. And
It's something. It brings something to the Star Wars universe we haven't seen before, which is Jedi being detectives, which is cool, and then getting to see an actual Boba Fett fight, even though it's not Boba Fett, but getting to actually see what that character could do is really cool.
It is. So, anyways, this week we saw Ghost Rider: Spirit of Vengeance, and Brad, should people go see Ghost Rider?
No. No.
He wasn't really thinking
man.
long about that, loyal listeners. He was just trying to be nice about
Yeah.
saying it.
He was trying to figure out if there were more words to more strongly say no.
Given the amount of effort that all these individuals put into these things, like whether they turn out bad or good, like there's still a lot of effort by a lot of people behind the scenes that do
Yeah.
that. So, and me not being as involved as they are, it's really hard for me to ever put down a movie. But
Yeah, it's a movie where you can see a lot of people worked really, really hard.
Yeah.
But no one should see this movie.
yeah, no one sets out to make a bad movie.
No.
And
Well, Paul W. S. Anderson probably sets out to make a bad movie.
true, but yeah, it's just like
Because he is a hack.
I just have to admit, like I just really did not enjoy watching this at all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
I was bored through every moment that wasn't
Yeah.
badass, and there weren't enough badass moments.
No, I agree.
There were a few sprinkles of coolness, but it
There
gets
were-
old really fast.
There were even a couple of jokes that I would say were actually good jokes.
Yeah, me too. So we'll go ahead and listen to the trailer.
There's good and bad in all of us. It doesn't matter how far you run. There are some demons you just can't escape.
I need your help. This child is in danger.
I don't save people.
If we don't help, the devil will have a new form, one more powerful than is ever known. And a shadow will fall upon the earth. Save the boy and lift your curse.
I've made a lot of mistakes. But Danny's the one good thing I ever did.
That being the case, we better make sure he doesn't turn out to be the Antichrist.
The rider's going to come out. He'll destroy whoever's got it coming.
I'm not afraid of you.
You should be.
If I walk away now, I'm just trading one demon for another. Plus, I have some personal issues I'd kind of like to get fixed.
Roadkill.
The rider's coming.
Hell yes.
Yeah, I was talking to James. I think the biggest problem with the movie is it seems like it builds momentum, then it just stops.
Oh,
Yeah.
absolutely.
It's like
the pacing is
it's bizarre. Isn't it?
incredibly just it's all over the map.
There are multiple times where the screen goes black for a long moment, like almost Lord of the Rings: Return of the King long moment, and then it has to come back and start building momentum again, and it's crazy, you know. Put a star wipe in, just keep this thing
Yeah.
moving.
But I mean, it's kind of unusual to have a reboot with the same lead character.
I mean,
As-
it's not entirely a reboot. Like, it really is a sequel, but it's a sequel
But does
like Punisher Warzone,
honestly, I
where
have
it
not
tries
s-
to not.
I haven't seen the last Ghost Rider since it was in theaters. Does he sign a contract that way? I don't think he does in that movie.
We don't really see.
I know he made a deal.
He makes a
but
deal with the
I don't know
devil,
about-
and it
Yeah.
is to save his father.
It's
but-
Peter Fonda and not.
Yeah.
Hines.
But it's like,
yeah, that's right.
yeah, it's shot differently. It's all,
And it's terrible. Wes Bentley. Oh my god.
yeah, it's.
The only thing I can remember about the first one is it's not good. And the Ghost Rider says stuff like "burn in hell," which I was
And
really
it's got
hoping.
Eva Mendes in it.
Yeah, and I was really hoping this movie wouldn't have that stuff, and it kind of does.
It's got some of it,
Yeah.
but it almost feels a little bit more earned, and it feels a little bit more. It feels cooler because the animation and the design of Ghost Rider
Rider's way cooler
is
than this.
way badass. Like, honestly, anytime that there are two things that make this movie watchable at any one time, and it's Idris Elba and it's the writer. Anytime that either of those things is on screen, I am interested in the movie, or at least there is something to look at that I am interested in watching. Idris Elba outacts everybody in this movie.
Oh, yeah.
and plays a character that I'm actually
plays it
interested in.
despite his terrible dialogue.
Yeah.
he
He's given
elevates
terrible
it.
dialogue, but he reads it in a
But
way that I'm like,
he-
okay, cool.
He's one of those actors who's always pretty cool. You
Yeah.
know, I mean, he's cool in Thor. He's awesome. I love him in The Office.
He's amazing in Thor. Ugh.
I actually just watched those episodes this week.
Yeah, you know, he's really good in The Office. And he's just kind of that guy who's kind of building up some steam right now where people are starting to appreciate who he is.
Yeah, he's got a really popular show in England called Luther that he's great in the show. I wasn't a huge fan of the show, but
Yeah, I mean, what was the directors? Neville-Teen and Taylor?
Neville Dean and Taylor. which
Neville-Dean and Taylor.
They
they bring a lot of energy. Like, the thing
Yeah.
I do appreciate about them is, I mean, the film has tons of energy.
yeah they came up. They created the two Crank movies.
Yeah.
and then they did Gamer before this. And they do, they're crazy guys. Like, they put a lot of work into their movies. They do a lot of, like, you know, they actually hold the camera, which is pretty unique for directors for one thing. But then they'll, like, have rollerblades on their feet and be rollerblading behind the guys on the motorcycles. Or the one thing that people were talking about a lot is that in the first 10 minutes of the movie are pretty cool. And at the end, there is this scene where Idris Elba's character goes flying off the side of this cliff, and what they did was they had this line set up for him to be pulled off of this cliff on, so that he was safe. And then, like, his motorcycle's going behind him. Well, to get the shot they wanted, one of the two directors with the camera was on that line, shot off of that cliff first, in front of Neville Dean and Taylor, or in front of Idris Elba, which means that the directors, and this isn't the only time they do that, the directors are doing some of the stunts with the actors so that they can get the shot that they want to get.
Yeah.
Which is just, it's the kind of passion in filmmaking that you have to respect. You have to see
yeah.
him and be like, this is really cool. The problem is just that they put a lot of work into it, but the product that you get out is not that great because they're not great storytellers.
No, that's the big problem. Like, you know, I mean, the pacing is what hurts. I mean, the action scenes are fine.
Yeah,
I mean,
absolutely.
sometimes I think
They're a little too energetic.
yeah,
I'm
like the
sometimes,
cutting's
yeah.
kind of goofy. But I mean, like you said, you can tell they put a lot of thought into them. And the biggest problem with the movie is seriously Nicolas Cage, because
hamming it up. Big
yeah,
time.
exactly.
Yeah, he's gone crazy.
And that's, you know, his biggest problem lately. Like, he is a good actor.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he can be a
Yeah.
good actor. But, you know, even in this movie, he has moments where I was like, oh, I'm starting to kind of like him. And then all of a sudden he does something totally bizarre where
Yeah.
he says, you know what, I'm not chewing up enough of this scenery. So when I talk to this guy that I'm interrogating, all of a sudden I'm going to be like going, I'm Nicolas Cage.
And the thing is that with different directors, they probably would tone him down. But these are the guys who made Crank. Like, they don't understand moderation. And so they probably saw that stuff and thought, like, that is too cool. Go even further. Like, they take
Oh, yeah.
they take everything to the extreme. And the nice thing is that because this movie requires a certain amount of realism, they can't do the kind of really crazy shit that they've done before. But it's still, when he does those weird moments, you can just see them giggling in the background, thinking it's the coolest thing ever. And it breaks the story, it breaks the character.
And I don't know, like I said, I don't know what's up with Nicolas Cage, but like his choices lately. I mean, Drive Angry, he's basically the same character.
Yeah.
He wears a leather jacket, has sunglasses, shoots people.
Escape from Hell.
Yeah, Escape from Hell, and he's just like, dude, you were in Con Air, right?
Yeah.
And
well, maybe that's not the. I mean, I love Con Air, but that's not the best example.
But or
he won an Oscar.
Yeah, I mean, Leaving Las Vegas or something. But you know, he's just too bizarre for his own good.
Adaptation.
Yeah, you know what I mean. He's just too bizarre for his own good, and I think you're right. I think these the directors don't know when to tell him to stop.
Yeah,
and that's part of being a director. Is like, dude, maybe do that a different way.
Right.
But I think you're right. I think they embrace it because right after that, there's a whole scene of him coming right at the camera, going,
yeah, the whole when he's riding the motorcycle at you. He's just flipping out.
It's like 30 seconds of him like cackling and yelling and screaming.
They hang on some just unnecessary shots for the longest time.
Yeah,
like we get it, move on.
They have a really weird sense of humor, and that's where it comes out. And it's one that. Much like a sort of Sam Raimi sense of humor, you have to sort of be in on the joke. You have to appreciate that sense of humor. But the difference is that they let that sense of humor get in the way of them telling a good story, whereas Sam Raimi doesn't. Usually Sam Raimi, when he puts a joke in there, it has a point, or it breaks the tension in a good place, whereas they put in these weird shots and these weird scenes, and you just don't even... Like, one of the times that the writer gets shot with a missile, or no, when the flashbang goes off, and the next thing we see is the writer floating in the air like he's out of a Nine Inch Nails music video, spinning, and then he just drops to the ground and he's walking again, and we're going, why was there 10 seconds of the Ghost Rider horizontal spinning in the air? Like he was in the one creepy Nine Inch Nails trailer. Like it was the same pose. It was that kind of stuff that they just throw in there, and I don't know why it's there.
Were you guys like halfway through the movie sitting and wondering like, what is the plot of this other than him trying to not be the Ghost Rider anymore? Like, what does this kid have to do with anything?
And that kid was terrible.
Yeah, the kid was not very good.
Like, he was the most morose-looking motherfucker ever.
Well,
what does the devil want with him? I don't understand.
Their whole incantation of the devil in general is a fairly uninteresting, uninspired
Well, the
idea
gypsy was about to die, and the deal he made with her is that she'd have to carry his kid.
Yeah.
So when he's born, then he wouldn't have to worry about dying. Is what I got out of it.
Yeah. Because since the kid is half devil, half human, then the devil can take over control of that body, and that body won't deteriorate the way that his bodies have in the past. Remember, there was that one cartoon scene where, like, Stalin was the devil, and
that's the other thing.
And Dracula was the devil. Like there were a whole bunch of people who had been the devil before, and now this guy, this business dude, was the devil, and so he wants to have a body that can just live on forever, and that's the whole plot.
You just reminded me. I love those animation sequences. Like I think they're the best part of the movie, even though they're kind of out of place. But
I don't like Nick Cage's narration over it. Though.
Really bad.
I'm just talking about the art.
Oh yeah, the art was cool.
The art's pretty cool,
and it's so bizarre that they have those sequences, but we get like Arial bold font for the credits and Times New Roman for the intro part of just the title. I was like, this movie is just all over the place. Like, did they run out of money for graphics? Or?
No, it's because the guys who directed this movie are all over the place.
I guess Crank is Ariel bold too.
You said something. You said something beforehand that sort of stuck, which was this feels like a movie directed by second unit directors, which sounds really unfair. It sounds like you're saying that it's directed by bad directors or directors who shouldn't be in charge, but the second unit on a movie is often the people who are directing all the action, and they're often doing some pretty crazy things. And these guys are totally those guys. Like they're those guys who are just obsessed with cool actions and cool shots and that kind of stuff. And what can they pull off? But much like Jurassic Park, Much like Jurassic Park, they are not concerned with whether or not they should pull it off.
You just brought it right back around.
I did.
That was awesome.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I mean, I have to respect these guys, but at the same time, I have yet to see a movie of theirs that I enjoy.
Yeah, it's not. You're right. I mean, it's not like they're not trying. I mean, at least they tried to make it a cool Ghost Rider movie. You know,
Yeah.
the first one is.
Oh, it's horrible.
I can't even tell you what it's about. I don't remember.
I remember the bike rolling through the smog swamp on a.
Yeah, they're like
They're
pulling,
pulling
the trees.
He's
Oh
not actually
my
driving
God.
it. Yeah, they're pulling
That
the.
was terrible.
There's no background. It's just black, and there's just these dead trees set up.
It's something about like the brother of the devil is doing something, and Ghost Rider has to meet up with Sam Elliott, and then Sam Elliott and him ride through the desert together. But Sam Elliott doesn't show up at the end to help. Coolest
Yeah.
scene of that movie is Sam Elliott as the Ghost Rider riding on a nightmare. The only good thing about that movie.
Yeah.
The rest of it is just trash.
Oh, he just reminded me. He was another Ghost Rider, wasn't he?
Yeah. That's actually what I thought was going to happen in this movie, which I thought was going to be really cool. Was we were going to find out that Idris Elba's character was
Yeah, or some
the
sort
way
of supernatural.
the way
guy.
well, I thought that what he was he was somebody who wanted to be the Ghost Rider, and so the way he was going to get the Rider out of Nick Cage, Johnny Blaze. Oh fuck, I hate saying that name. The way he was going to get the Rider out of Nick Cage was going to get it into Idris Elba. You know,
Steal it.
But he was
yeah,
just a
gonna
generally
try and
good
steal it.
guy.
Yeah, no, he was just an awesome guy.
And then Christopher Lambert, how far you have fallen.
Yeah,
I was asking myself.
yeah, the
where he's been
Highlanders
lately,
in this
and there he
movie.
is.
Yeah.
Yep.
What was their problem? They just wanted to kill the devils.
Yeah.
Yeah, they
They
were
wanted
like,
to kill him
post,
so they wouldn't have to worry about
yeah,
the
why
end
even
of
worry
days.
about the devil's son getting possessed by the devil? Why not just kill the devil's son? Makes sense to me.
Yeah, and that one guy who touched people and they decayed, like, except for the Ghost Rider, it doesn't decay as fast as everybody else, I guess.
He's as goofy
Yeah.
as the guy in the Punisher Warzone
Yeah.
villain.
That was a good joke though. Like everything decayed except the Twinkie. He could eat
Yes.
the Twinkie.
Yeah,
Yeah,
was
that was one of the good jokes, yeah. And the animation for things decaying is really cool.
Yeah.
But then the
leftovers was terrible.
the leftovers?
Like after he made them decay.
Oh yeah. Oh
like,
yeah, yeah. The stuff you're
carcasses.
looking at, you're like, this is gross. But then he's given like decay vision or some shit, like
Yeah.
where
Yeah.
everything goes black and white and it just looks shaky. And I think it's because they didn't have enough money to do really good decay CG for every time he decays somebody. So they came up with this fucking bullshit.
Yeah, because the first one
And
looked
it
really
just-
good.
Yeah, it did. It looked really cool, and I was like, I want to see more of that. I want to see more Ghost Rider, and I want to see more decay, right? But then there's like
There's a lot of
that.
cutaways from Nicolas Cage transitioning from Ghost Rider to human form again. There's a lot of just cuts. Like they don't just show
Right.
the flames retreating and then his
No.
face forming again. It's just like he's flaming. They cut to something else, and they come
And then
back
they come
to him,
back
and
and
he's
it's-
Nicolas
yeah.
Cage.
Which again is because they don't have enough money to really do
Yeah.
that kind of CG.
But the
'Cause they
Ghost
spent-
Rider, I will say the Ghost Rider looked way better.
Oh
Oh,
gosh,
yeah.
he looks so cool.
Like with the bubbling
When he-
costume and
that first time that we see him, I was just like, "Don't let this scene end." I just want to keep watching the animation on that Ghost Rider, and I think it is actually should be attributed to Nick Cage because I'm pretty sure that it's still just Nick Cage in a green hat.
it is.
You know, and so the way that he like the animation, the way he's moving, and the things he's doing with that character,
That was one of his
are
big
pretty
things
cool.
he said in an interview before I read an interview with him before I went and saw the movie. Is in the last movie he wasn't the Ghost Rider.
Yeah,
Stand-in.
Yeah, there's a stunt guy who was. In this movie, he was the Ghost Rider.
it's totally better.
It is. Yeah, you
I
can
mean,
tell.
In fact, it's so much better that I don't want him to turn back into Johnny Blaze because actual Nick Cage is shitty by comparison to fake CG'd over Nick Cage.
Maybe that's his new career,
Yeah.
the Golem.
Yeah, he will be Gollum in the new Lord of the Rings.
Yeah,
This movie's just,
that's about it.
man. I
Some
really kind of
lines.
wanted this to be pretty cool.
Yeah,
And after
but-
the first 10 minutes, I was thinking, all right.
And Anthony Stewart Head's in it.
It's got a badass late title card. I'm like, this is going to be good. And then that narration started, and I was like, oh, this is
It's a mess.
just what I don't want.
And I made a deal with the devil.
Yeah.
Who? What?
And again, like, if you make a movie where there is a human portrayal of the devil, it needs to be awesome.
And that guy's really good. He's in Rome as Julius Caesar. He's really good in that.
Yeah.
I forget his.
Munich, yeah.
He was like, their whole portrayal of the devil was just like the most
And
uninteresting. Yeah. Like by comparison, the first thing I go to
He has
as far
a stroke towards the end of the movie.
as the first thing
And I
that
guess the Ghost Rider's so strong as he can just
Yeah.
shoot the
Yeah,
devil
yeah,
back down
he's
to
the-
hell.
He's not a scary devil. Like the first thing I go to is Constantine. Constantine still to me has the best imagery of the devil I've ever seen on film. Like having that when that character shows up, you're just like, this is cool.
I don't know if that Gabriel
That-
Byrne in The End of Days was pretty good.
Oh, I don't remember that.
You know,
I haven't seen that movie in a long time.
one of my favorite Arnold moments ever in any movie is the devil comes into his apartment and he's trying to scare Schwarzenegger. And Schwarzenegger says, "You think I'm scared of you? You're a fucking choir boy compared to me. A fucking choir boy." Saying it to the devil. I love that part. So it's The End of Days. Not the best.
Didn't
but
that movie come out in 1999?
It did.
I think it's 98.
Maybe 98. Whatever.
Oh, okay.
All I know is it's like one of Arnold's darker movies.
Oh, yeah, absolutely it is.
And it's better than people give it credit for.
Yeah, they're
Better than
advertising
Ghost
as, like,
Rider Spirit of Vengeance.
It is.
They were heavily advertising like this is Arnold's dramatic turn.
Yeah.
Like, you
Yeah.
really get to see a sensitive side to his acting.
He
I don't know
was.
if
He
that's
was.
true.
He was suicidal.
Yeah.
But he also called the devil a fucking choir boy, so that was pretty cool.
Jingle All the Way is probably a more dramatic role. But anyway.
Anywho,
Ghost Rider.
so
Go
Ghost
see that.
Rider. Yeah. Yeah.
If they make a Ghost Rider 3, I will probably see
Probably not. There was like 10 people in our theater.
it. This is true. Yeah, which is sad.
And we didn't see it in 3D, so
Yeah.
No,
I take that.
no,
Yeah.
no.
I mean, I think maybe the animation part would probably be really cool in 3D, but
I think when he took over that construction crane, that might have been a pretty awesome in 3D.
That was the most boring giant action scene I saw.
It was.
Like
Uh.
that was just go in, and I was like, "This is supposed to be badass," but I am bored. This is dumb.
They're probably if the Ghost Rider can take over cars and motorcycles, what if he took over a big, giant machine? How
Yeah.
badass would that be? And
Yeah.
then we got this boring.
Right. Especially because it comes right after a scene where they're shooting the Ghost Rider with javelin missiles, which
Yeah.
is not as cool as it sounds, but it sounds cool enough to make up for how not cool it is.
you know what? I just remembered that. That's the last thing I'll say is like the last scene. He purposely like killed that kid,
Yeah.
like
Yeah, he
to get to the devil.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, he's got this like redemptive moment where he turns back into the angel of justice and gives that kid his soul back. But you're forgetting, and I totally did. He flipped that car over and
He
killed that little boy.
kid. Anyways, some hero he
Oh,
turned out
wow.
to be.
That's ridiculous.
Anyways, next week we'll be seeing Wanderlust with Jennifer Aniston,
Yeah,
which I wish she was
Sure.
naked in it.
but she is not.
She is not. Unless you guys think of something
I just
else.
hope that
then.
there's something funny in that movie.
It's made by the guy who made Wet Hot American Summer and Role Models. So,
I like role models.
and some people are saying it could be a prequel to Wet Hot American Summer or a sequel.
I have not seen Wet Hot American Summer.
It's all right. It's like kind of like Dazed and Confused, but there's a lot of people from Paul Rudd's in it, and so there's a lot of people that you know now.
Yeah.
Check
I'll
it out.
check
It's
it out.
you can
Comedians,
it's
yeah.
streaming, so you can check it out. on
Oh, cool.
streaming. But you can follow us on Twitter, real_nerds. You can like us on Facebook, Real Nerds Podcast. You can read our amazing blogs at realnerds.tumblr.com. You can email us, realnerds@gmail.com. And you can listen to us on iTunes and on our blogs. We're everywhere. We're like the zombie virus. We just spread everywhere.
I'd like to give credit to the Digital Bits for my DVD release information, which I forgot to do earlier.
Yeah, I love the Digital Bits. That's a website I've liked for so many years. It's been around forever.
Been following him for a while.
Me too. I love that they put it all easy to find and
Yep.
even the
Cover
obscure
art,
things.
Yeah.
So yeah,
And,
this has been a Nebulous Visions production.
should people be looking forward to something?
I am.
Wise?
Soon we're going to do a 1999 Best of the Year podcast.
Retro podcast.
Sometime.
A retro podcast.
We're going to go back in time.
I've started working on mine. I have 9. I'm just I got to fight over what the 10th movie is and then put them in order.
So as soon as we know exactly what when we're gonna do that.
Yeah.
And
We
then
gotta- we have
Brad will
to-
make a banner for it.
We have to have a week where
He'll call it like Extreme Movie Podcast, but with an X.
Well, it'd be the Filmsplosion poster, but done the way that 1999 looked.
I'll do an animation where it like shows 1999, then the one will drop out, and the nines will flip upside down, and then fire will shoot out of it.
Whoa, dude! Hey, maybe End of Days will be on mine.
I know, that's why I brought it up. I was like, I think that's that year. Is it really?
I'm
Shoot.
pretty sure.
You're a liar, Brad. I'm gonna look that up when we're done here. Anyways, bye.
Bye.